Well, good evening, people. Let's just wait for the YouTube to catch up. Oh, there we go. How are we all? Missy, Jen, Gary, Scar, if you're still in there, mate. And obviously, Mrs. W. over there.
I can hear you.
You can. That's all right then. Don't know how long I will last tonight, people. As you can hear, my throat is pretty bad. I've got the sniffles and a bit of a headache. I think I've got a bit of a cold, to be honest. It's that time of year. I usually pick one or two up. I don't have the flu jab or anything, so yeah, I normally get them. But I've been dosed up. Got a couple of lens sips and various other pills that I'm allowed to take. Marine, good evening. What's going on here? That's better. I'm getting a light reflection off the screen. Well, it's been a busy week so far, isn't it? Blaggers, hello, mate. How you doing? Yeah, with the old socialist conference going off there in Liverpool. Stuart, good evening, buddy. It's been a bit of an eye opener, isn't it? But apparently we're still missing a handful of sausages. So I think you come across plenty of those, don't you, Marty? Yeah, no worries, Gary. No worries, mate. But yeah, it's been an eye-opening week. Really has. Then as soon as he left to fuck off to America, basically the conference turned against him. Marty gets you everywhere, Stuart. But yeah, basically he just stood up there and went literally through their manifesto again of what they were going to do, and they're not doing any of it. Good evening, Gordo. We know it's not going to happen. The same with Cooper. You know, they're just full of it. They haven't got a clue. The black hole that they're supposed to have found. As I've said before, the country's always run on debt, has done for many years. They still haven't shown any proof. And all they're doing is creating a bigger black hole. Russell, good evening. No details on what kind of sausages. Big fat ones, knowing that prick. Resist, hello, mate.
Evening, resist.
Yeah, it was spring tides, Gordo.
Oh, man.
They've never been traditionally that good. And it does, in some places, make the beaches and that unfishable as well. So obviously it rips the weed up. Caught a flipping seal. Well, I think I've actually caught a cold, Gordo, so, which is very surprising because I haven't been out of the fucking house. But there you go. Yeah, I missed yours, Resist. I'm sorry about that, mate. I think Heather was in there. I was asleep. You know what I'm like. Once the old fatigue hits, it's get me head down or fall over, basically. Next week, I've got another round of hospital visits and doctor visits and some more investigations to go into. And this time it's to do with my breathing and that as well. And then a bit later in the month, I've got possibly the treatments for the polycythemia again, depending on how the blood tests go. So it's just a case of going with the flow, seeing what they find out, I suppose. But nothing's getting better, that's for sure. Yeah, Gary, I've been falling apart for years, mate. Most of it's my own doing. As long as the brain stays reasonably intact, I'm quite safe. You know, I can get over the bits with the body. You know, Heather can strap me into the chair, I'll be fine. Yeah, that's the thing with the seals, Gordo. They don't normally end up getting hooked. It's just the fact that they won't let go of the fucking fish on the end. You know, we used to hook into them down in Cornwall now and again where they used to pick them up. But they won't pick up the bait fish, even if you're fishing for conger and that. They'll only pick up what you caught. Yeah, I've already had an hour's kip resist, but I don't think I'll last till 10 o'clock tonight anyway, the way my head feels. Last night again, I was up at, half two this morning, was it? Something like that.
Don't know.
I just couldn't turn the brain off and the legs started kicking in again. The usual shit. But how are the rest of you? How are you doing tonight? Is Stitching? I don't know, Jen. I'm seeing her in the chat yet. She normally drops in. Yeah, I try to keep going, resist. I mean, I've been taking the odd day off at the moment where I don't do videos to try and relax and get a bit of a rest. It'll probably be the same next week because I've got a review with the DWP, whatever it's fucking called. DWP, that's it. They want a review. I don't know why, because the doctors have actually written me off. They said I don't need to get signed off or anything. There's no way I can work. And it's actually dangerous, as I've said. And then Tuesday, I'm at the hospital. But that's probably going to... Was it the other way around? No, Monday I'm at the hospital. Then Tuesday's
a phone call.
Is the DWP. Good evening, person I. Oh, it's Paul, is it? Good evening, Paul. Yeah, that's what I said, Stuart. You got this shit going on. Who was it? Somebody brought it up in the week about where they're putting English speakers to the back of the queue so they can get the ones that need interpreters over and done with first, so they don't have to pay the interpreters all day. And as I said, well, that idiot that did my ECG last time, I couldn't even understand what he was saying. So I could have needed an interpreter to listen to a technician work there. Jesus, I am wheezing tonight. But has anybody got flooded out yet? I mean, we've been lucky here. We've had rain for a few days now, but we very rarely get floods where we are. Although we have got a brook down the bottom here, it does seem to handle most of the runoff. and it's the overflow for the lakes up Sutton Park as well, which is quite a bit when it rains, but I've never seen it come over the top. I've seen it up, but not over the top. I'm in my winter new heat. Yeah, the outlying areas around here, Stuart, we've had a few floods apparently, looking around at the local news. Not as bad as some areas, but I think Walsall had some, Wolverhampton, which is just up the road. There's one or two roads that we get that get flooded, but they're just slightly out of this sort of local area. And I don't go that far anyway, to be honest. Okay, Paul, no worries, mate. Good evening, Karen. You seem to enjoy your trip back to the Emerald Isle. I've been looking at some of the pictures you've been posting. Brought back a few memories for me as well. Yeah, it's raining here now, Gary. It's been pretty dry most of the day, and then about 3 o'clock. Yeah, I do, Missy. I mean, one of my consultants, I think she's Korean. She's certainly Asian anyway. But she does speak perfect English, and she's very good. But some of the others, I just can't understand the frigging word they're saying half the time. So I just sit there and nod my head. You know, they wave a needle around, and I just hold my arm out. Well, if you want to stick the bastard in, stick it in. You know, I feel like a tea bag sometimes when I come out. 2,000 perforations. But that was another thing old Herr Gruppenführer Starmer come up with yesterday. I haven't looked at the speech today, but I did cover it yesterday about we're going to move the channel paddlers out the hotels because we don't see why the taxpayer should have to pay to keep them in there. Well, where's he going to put the bastards? I said it in the video today. They're not deporting them. So they're obviously going to put them in private rentals or council rentals, which taxpayers got to pay for anyway.
Is that where they're putting the homeless in the hotels?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Where they're going to put the veterans. He said they're going to house them. Well, we've heard all that before, haven't we? So went to the sauna at the side of the hospital. And my scan. Yeah, that one, Stuart, it makes you feel like you shot your bolt, pissed yourself, crapped yourself. It's a radioactive one. That's why the fuckers run out of the room before it's injected. It's injected by machine remotely. The first time they gave me that was when I had the blood clot on the brain some years ago. They took me down to the QE, which is the big hospital the other side of Birmingham. And they didn't tell me what this stuff was going to do. So first of all, I got the metallic taste in my mouth. And then as soon as it really hit and I felt it, I shot out of the MRI machine. And they're like, where the fuck are you going? I said, you should have warned me that shit was coming. Yeah, it's a radioactive one, Stuart. It's like an isotope. It's not just they say it's a contrast to give everything a contrast, but Yeah, it's quite a nasty one. But I always make sure when I'm having a scan now, I ask it if it's that one, so I know what's going to happen. And as I say, you get that metallic taste in your mouth first anyway, so you know it's coming. But if it's the first time, it is very, very unnerving. Very unnerving. Are you keeping in touch on Facebook, Karen? Enjoyed watching some of the pictures from there and the family. Yeah, what you want to do is ask for a weekly appointment, Stuart. Yeah, I used to love going over there on holiday, Karen. As you know, I've got family over there myself. Right out west, over in Sligo there. There was a family cottage that we had as well. It was literally on one of the old stone boat ramps where the fishermen used to launch their rowing boats. Spring tide, the water used to come up through the door and all the stone floors were on a slope. There was a row of 3 cottages with all holes through the wall, so the water used to drain out and out through the bottom one. But without me knowing, I believe the family sold it. So,
Gordo's put some pictures of where he was stopping on your Discord.
okay, Gordo, I'll have a look at them, mate.
He actually tagged Jenny in them, but I got a message. So.
Probing resist. Yeah, you've never seen anything like it when I used to go in, mate. Yeah, it is nice, Missy, right out in Sligo. It's a place called Moharau. It's about 6-7 mile outside Sligo. My auntie had a big bungalow built there before my uncle died. Well, they're both died now, sadly. It was built Spanish style up on side of the hill. And literally you could see the Atlantic. And, if you looked out to sea from their living room window, the next stop was basically America. But then some holiday makers bought land there and they built houses opposite. Totally ruined that. But yeah, all the ones around here are full of sick people as well, Stuart. Some of them are in uniforms as well. Yeah, that's something that I'm not looking forward to because I think I might have to have the old camera down the throat because obviously I had the burns and that down there and a lot of scarring because I'm getting a lot of chest pains and struggling to breathe sometimes and swallow. So there could be something going on with that. So they're going to want to have a look at it. And I hate them things. I just start throwing up as soon as they start putting it down my throat.
What you need to do is go, and you won't gag.
Yeah.
Seriously. Take it from one who knows. Go on.
No, it's all right. I've kept away from the smut for a while. Yeah, Joe, the hospital here, Gareth, the one I used to work at, it's literally only just around the corner. But most of the main casualties, they take to the 2 bigger ones. One is probably, how far is Heartlands away? 6 mile? 7 mile?
Could be 10, something like
About
that.
10. And the other one, the main one, the big one, is literally the other side of Birmingham. JW, good evening. Welcome, mate. Yeah, I haven't had the one up the other end, mate. If I had the sort of problems that needed that, I think I'd keep quiet about it anyway.
Yeah, singing doesn't help with that one.
You know, as long as they're not putting them suppositories up there with both hands on my shoulders. If they start that malarkey, we could have some issues. Oh, yeah. Mind you, this probably don't help. I should have stopped using it by now, but I still get the odd craving. It's mainly in the evening, but
The fact that you've stopped smoking, darling, it is amazing. So,
well, it is. Well, considering I've been smoking
yeah.
since I was 12. What do you reckon of that one then, guys? Yeah, it's the gag reflex, Gary. Some people are a lot worse than others. Merch drop. No, not merch, Gary. I don't sell anything on here. I was just playing around with some fabric paints, that was all. I was going to do another one with Mega, a bit like the Trump ones, but make England great again. Mega with a Union Jack underneath it or something. But no, I don't do the merch, and like I say, I never make money off the channel. I never will. I'd never wanted to. And I said that right from the first video. Starmer hot dogs, yeah. What a mistake to make, though. I mean, it doesn't even sound like hostages, does it? Sausages, hostages. Well, I suppose it does a little bit. Yeah, I feel like that about Cornwall, Karen. It was my home for many years. And obviously the lads down there made me an honorary Cornishman. I was well known, well respected. Grumpy Sapper, good evening, mates. Yeah, I wouldn't get them printed up, Missy. But I mean, if you go somewhere like the Spreadshirt where Dan sells his stuff that he advertises, you can put your own design in there. But they are expensive to have done, especially as a one-off. You know, you might be better off going to a shop where they do the iron-on ones or something and just get the letters and made up. But they don't last long, as you know. They peel off. Yeah, that's the party. Basically, that's the members at the conference that voted that. It doesn't mean to say it's going to get reversed, because obviously that vote, it doesn't mean anything. That's just a consensus in the room. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. So I say most people in here, you know, we consider everybody as friends, just friends we haven't met yet, you know, except the odd few that I have met in person. No, it certainly wasn't planned, Missy. It wasn't planned. He's in turmoil. He's getting very confused. He's screwed up in the head. And I think we're going to see a lot more of it. He's going to start coming out with shit that he doesn't mean to say. And he's just getting confused. Plus, it seems that he can't read the auto cue because that's where he was getting most of it from. But, we've got to start fighting back in a way. Now, matey that did the video that I posted the other day, the Arsenal fan, openly told him he's not welcome at the matches. They don't want him there. They will give him shit if he turns up. Well, this is the way people can fight back. Whenever they appear in public, any of them, Rayner, Cooper, Reeves, any of them, is don't give them the time. If you're going to say anything, give them a boot or something. Let them know. Drive them off the street. And because they don't know how to read the room. They do not listen to the people. And a good leader listens to the people. We're the ones they're supposed to be working for. They should be putting in place our ideas, what we want, not what they think we want. Yeah, I was going to say that if I do a video tomorrow, Stuart. I mean, what's the matter? Little bastard ain't got a bedroom. 20 grand for somewhere so he can revise for his exams.
It's on minimum wage.
Most people got to live on less than that. And because he needed somewhere peaceful, well, where does he sleep? In a dormitory? Mind you, if he's at a private school, then he mightn't he? But that's absolutely ridiculous, that is. The excuses they come up with. I mean, I've said it many a times, and not just with this lot, with the Tories as well. The first thing, if they want to look good and gain any bit of favour from the public, is stop using the people's money to pay their own fucking bills. That would go a long way, to making themselves look a bit better in the public eye. But fucking camera, it's doing my fucking Sweden. That's the other one playing up now. Hang on, that's...
We've got them too close together, it's infectious.
Right, we'll go over to that one for a minute until that one freezes, and then we'll go back. Yeah, I mean, if he wanted somewhere quiet, rent a fucking caravan somewhere. But 20k? No, that doesn't cut with me, spending that sort of money.
Yeah, but that's the point. He didn't have to. Someone said, you can have this, and it was worth that much. Didn't cost him a fucking penny.
I'd have invited Stammer to my last... I wouldn't invite the prick anywhere, mate. I really wouldn't. I mean, everybody's blaming those that voted Labour. Well, those that never voted at all have got to carry some of the can for it. Because that's how they got the majority. If more people had voted, they wouldn't have got so many, but yeah, sure. I mean, they're saying 22 billion in it, the black hole. Well, that's never been proved that it's there. Even the Bank of England says it isn't there. They can't find it. Even one of the government departments said they can't find it. But they're just creating a bigger hole. I mean, look how much they've given to the Ukraine. Yet you see the videos of what the supposedly bombed out Ukraine is like. Yeah, there's nightclubs open. They're having a fucking whale of a time. They're short of people on the battlefront. Yet all the young lads and that. They're all out partying every weekend in Kyiv, and there's videos of it out there. So it's all propaganda. It's all bullshit. And I mean, we shouldn't be involved anyway. Although it looks like Biden wants to provoke them into a fucking war with everybody else as well. But yeah, they do, Gary. They do. And like I said, in today's, when I put the flags and that up, the Starmer in his speech saying, "Oh, we all need to come together under the one flag. You shouldn't hate your neighbour." Well, years ago, we used to know who our neighbours were. You could leave your door open. They'd wander in and make themselves a cup of tea. You leave your door open now, the fucking house would be emptied, your kids would be fucking murdered. And we're supposed to just accept that. Yeah. No, not at the conference, Russell. The only time a vote from them can make any change is when it's done in Parliament. That vote on that was just the unions asking the people, like, how many of you are against this? It means nothing. And even if you're against it anyway, it looks like it means nothing to them most of the time. Yeah, Gary, it used to be like that, mate. I mean, fuck me, when I used to go out, well, I shouldn't say it really, but when I was young and we used to go out poaching, if someone's front door was open, you'd walk in and chuck a couple of bunnies or a couple of pheasants on the table, They knew damn well where they'd come from.
And they thanked you for them.
Nowadays, they're more likely to come in, walk through your door, steal your fucking cat and cook that bastard, aren't they, I was more climb the trees and fall out, Gary. Scrumping. I haven't heard that word for fucking years. Used to be great round our way until the farmer realised that he could use salt cartridges on us from his old 410. But my father, what's that? The poaching, Karen? I'll give you a little trick on that in a minute. When you want the pheasants, you go out at night with a torch, 20 foot of bamboo or an old fishing rod and a knitting needle. And what you do is you shine the torch up into the trees and you can see where the pheasants are roosting, because they will roost in the trees. And you've got the knitting needle whipped on the end of your pole, and you just, and then lower them down and take them off. One hole through them, no lead shot to find when you're eating them. Clean kill. Shouldn't say that really. I mean, some people use catapults, but the old knitting needle on a stick trick was nice and quiet. Yeah, I was out doing things like that as a teenager, Karen. Come from a rural background, a farming community.
A bad boy.
Bad boy. And that's why I say you could spend days up the woods, and all you'd need to do is take a little knife and a cover, and you'd just kip up the woods. You'd have a little stove, or you build your little fire. There was little brooks up there where you could tickle the old trout. And I don't mean that in a pornographic way either, before anybody says it. They haven't got any integrity, Missy, and they haven't got any morals either. Far from it. Yeah, I don't think there'll ever going to be, Russell, another generation that enjoyed the freedom of life like we did. Actually, Gary, you're not far off the point with that. I got sent home from school at 15 years old for taking a 650 Triumph sidecar to school and parking it in the headmaster's car parking space. All the kids were running around on mopeds, and I took a 650 Triumph. Yeah, that's an art, Gordo. I don't know anybody in my circle of friends now that knows how to do it. I owned several Triumphs, Gary, back in the day. Amongst other models and makes. I had one that I got off a mate of mine, which is, it was actually a collector's one. It was a 1955 650 Speed Twin, but it was the Coronation model. Had a nickel-plated frame and oil tanks and forks and everything. And the other nice thing about it, it was what they call de-restricted, because most of the Triumphs were geared and restricted back then. This one wasn't. The old Velocet. Yeah, the Silver Shadow was the baby one. Black Shadow was the big one.
Oh, you do sound bunged up, though.
I am bunged up. I tell you, my head is pounding. That's why I said I ain't going to last that long tonight. Let's see if I can. I can't see the chat at the minute for people. All right.
Gordo said,
Right.
Jenny says, feel better soon.
There you go, Gary. That was the Coronation Speed Twin. Dapper looking young man there, look, with the porn moustache.
My dad had a TR7.
And yes, the silencers were hollow.
Fun trying to get me and the two kids in it as well as him.
I did have some more pictures of that one somewhere. I can't. Oh yeah, that was. It's not a very good picture.
Who's the guy on the bike?
Which one?
I don't know, Gary's.
That was me. And that was it when I first got it. I kept that tank, the original tank in the original colours. And the other one was a replacement one that I sprayed up. Yeah, I was a right hooligan back then, Gary. Believe me. Oh, there goes the camera. Fucking frozen again. I must get a decent one. Right, that one's back in focus. Right. Yeah, me Uncle Bob used to work on the rally versions of the TR with the Rover V8 in. They started with the 2 litre, but then went over to the V8 because it was lighter. And there is a guy over the back here somewhere. He's got one on his drive, I've seen. During the summer, he uncovers it and takes it out now and again. Oh, I was very, very rebellious, Gary.
Is one of his other cars a Spitfire?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he's in the Triumph Owners Club. He's always got one up on the actual stands and what have you.
He's always got the one undercover, yeah.
Yeah, because the TR7 he bought off the bloke over the road from him. It was on his drive for a few years. No bikes or cars, please. Oh, I got plenty of pictures of my cars, Stuart, but I haven't got a lot of them on the computer. No probs go to jail when I'm 100 years old. The local bobbies used to know me around the town, Gary. I mean, on a Friday night, if we were on the town on the piss, they used to just leave the cell door open. I used to just wander in. Rebel mode, yeah. But it was back then, you either, it was just after the sort of modern rockers era, I should say. Although I did go down to Brighton in 77? For the reunion down there. But, you see them all now, the scooterists and the bikers, most of them get on together. What the fuck's going on down here? My bit of carpet's gone able. Quite often at the bike shows now, you'll see the scooters there alongside the bikes. Oh, we got quite a good motorcycle museum local as well, up by the NEC there, which I didn't know was there. Heather took me up there one day. Brought back a lot of memories. There was even one of my old mate's bikes in there, one of the drag bikes. I didn't even know it was in there. But it was the in thing when you either danced to the mod music or you did rock and roll and heavy rock. Well, unless you were the rockabilly and then you had the low rider cars and stuff. To be honest, Gary, I don't mind watching it. I mean, you see some of them in the videos and that, guys my age still riding scooters. I mean, obviously there's people my age and a lot older riding bikes. Flyby, good evening, Stu. But it's getting harder and harder. I mean, when I renewed my license, they dropped the motorcycle part off of it. All right, and Karen, you take care, sweetheart.
Good night, Karen.
I'm not going to be on long tonight anyway, with the way my head feels at the moment. Yeah, because I hadn't had a bike for quite a few years, they dropped the entitlement off the license, which they said they'd reinstate if I had my original pass certificate. Well, yeah, right. Something I took 17 years old. I had no chance of finding that. So I'd have to go through all the training and compulsory shit and take my test again. And it's just not worth it. Just not worth it now. I mean, Reverend Simon Sideways has just found out how hard that can be. He's actually got 2 bikes now, but one he can't ride at the moment because I don't think he's got the paperwork through for it yet. But a 1400 resin rocket today is pointless. There's no roads you can really open them up safely. Anywhere there is on the motorways are covered by bloody cameras. But back in the day there was no speed cameras. And unless you saw a copper in a car, you could do whatever speed you wanted, basically. Many a night I went down the bloody M4 at 130 plus on my big Honda. Yeah, Gary, I'm just stuffed up with this cold, mate. I got an up-the-nose job. Yeah, we did think about that. JW. And there was a trike in the back garden for a little while. It was a bike trike. Didn't have reverse or anything on it. And the way it was built, I didn't build it. It was actually dangerous. But I did think about getting it up and running at one point. But I'm too old for it now, mate. I've got too many aches and pains. And most of the time I wouldn't have the strength to go for a decent ride anyway.
It's more comfortable in the car.
Yeah, it's more comfortable in the car.
Don't need wet weather gear.
Yeah, I've got the memories of it. Been there, done it. I've still got me cut hanging on the back of the door up there.
Been there, done it, got the hip replacement.
But yeah, I've got memories, I've got photographs, and I'm still in touch with a load of friends that I used to ride with from the club, and non-club. But the trikes, there's some weird laws in and around them. Different weight categories. Some you've got to wear seat belts, and you don't have to wear a helmet. It's too much to figure out.
I've got to sleep next to that snotty whatsuit.
What did you say then?
I said I've got to sleep next to you.
Yeah.
Snotty.
Sniffling and farting. Oh. This is why I don't take the jab. I'll get something like this maybe once a year if I'm unlucky. I don't need a needle to actually give it me, as a lot do. But they've started pushing that again now, haven't they? Get your flu jab along with your booster and various other things. But it just seems that everything they're bringing out nowadays is MNRA based. Well, from what I've seen, that's the bit that does all the damage. Now, they're going on today about how women weren't getting treated and diagnosed for heart problems like myocarditis. Get that right, and shit like that. Well, why weren't they looking for it in women? I mean, there's as many women drop dead in the sports arenas and what have you as there are blokes. No disrespect to the girls, but, everything now, even the police, we got to protect the women. We got to protect the women. The women are being attacked. They're being assaulted. Everybody is at risk of assault and murder. You know, if anyone needs to be picked out to protect, especially, it's the kids. You know, it seems most of the murders and that now are kids, youngsters, teenagers. I mean, yes, there is a big escalation in domestic violence towards women, but why? Why is there a big explosion of it? Well, you've only got to think of the people that are doing it, because it's acceptable in certain religions. If your wife done bad, you can beat her. To me, that's not acceptable, and it shouldn't be happening in this country. But it's because the demographic of the country is changing. Yeah, they are, Flyby. They are, mate. I mean, you know, there's been Muslims, Sikhs, all religions in this country for years. And just about everybody got on. But all of a sudden, with this invasion and explosion of certain demographics in this country, whether they've come illegally or not, it's escalating. You know, the others that come, yes, they followed their religion, but they gave the courtesy to the English to follow their own religions. But now they're coming in and saying, oh, no, you've got to follow our religion. You've got to turn away from Christianity and follow us. Go fuck yourself. You know, it's like I said, I never bothered about them until they started trying ramming it down our throats. You know, the same with the alphabet people. I don't give a shit what your sexual orientation is. But don't come ramming it down my throat telling me I've got to change mine to fall in line with yours. That's just one way you're going to get yourself hurt doing that with me. Gabby, hello, sweetheart. Long time no hear. How are you? Yeah, this is the problem, Gary. There is a lot more mental health issues now, and most of it has been caused by what the government have been doing. Okay, I will hold my hands up and say COVID had a lot to do with it, an awful lot to do with the mental health issues now. But they never really, I mean, look at 30, 40 years ago, if you turned around and said, oh, I think I've got mental health issues, the first thing they done was bang you up in a fucking hospital.
I'll tell you to pull yourself together, lad.
I mean, in my lifetime, they were back when I was a kid, they were still giving people electric shock treatment, you know? You know, there is a bigger understanding of it now, but they broke it up into so many different categories.
But years ago, when women went through postnatal depression, it was to be expected.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it was a big scam, Flyby. But on the other hand, I will admit they weren't ready for it, and they did react in the wrong way, following certain models that one or two had created or put forward, which, as the inquiry has proved, they were absolutely wrong. They were way off base with it all. It didn't matter what intervention they was going to put out there. It didn't matter what they done. It was never going to make any difference. Never going to make any difference at all. But then you got Starmer yesterday saying we're going to claw money back off of people who are falsely claiming benefits and shit like that. Well, there's millions and millions to be clawed back just from MPs alone around COVID. We all know what happened. We all know what Hancock did, and Whitty and people like that. I haven't heard of any of that coming back, even though the Supreme Court has said there was fraud and illegal dealings around it. The inquiry exposed it. Yep, I can well believe that, Grumpy Sapper. I can well believe that, mate.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Want the moke? Paulette, good evening, sweetheart. Yeah, but you look at the countries that they come from, Grumpy. The standards of driving in a lot of them, unbelievable. You know, even in India. But the thing is, a lot of them can come over here and get their license swapped over to a British one. No, that's all right, Grumpy Sapper, no problem, mate. No problem. It's just sad that that does happen nowadays. Yeah, but thinking about it, really, when you think of the religion that Hamas fucking follow, you know, they're not going to touch a sausage anyway, are they? Reminds me of that film Sausage Party. I don't know why that comes to mind. Oh dear. I should have made a lem sip while I was out in the kitchen, shouldn't I?
Do you want me to go make one?
If you wouldn't mind, darling. I'm going to be struggling to breathe later.
Okay, give me a moment.
Sausage pie too. All right, Jen, no worries. I presume
I'll see how he is, Jen.
Yeah, we'll see how we are.
Because he might insist on sharing.
Well, that's another thing, Gary, that's changing. I mean, there's 90 odd hereditary peers in the House of Lords now, and they're trying to hoist them out so they can replace them with Labour. You know, as one of them moves out, dies, whatever, nobody's coming back in, they're going to replace them with Labour. So you can end up with a majority of Labour in the House of Lords as well as in the Commons. And what's going to happen then? Any laws they want to put through, they're going to breeze it. Yeah, there's a few newcomers in the community, Gabby, since you were last in. It's grown a little bit. And Lordettes. Yeah, I mean, Michelle Moan, you know, and the ones that Rishi put forward, old Roland, you know, the outgoing PM, can appoint some as lords. Most of them shouldn't be in there. And they are so disconnected from the House of Commons. But if you got all Labour in there, they're going to work with them, aren't they? Because they've given the peership. Yeah, I mean, that Lord Ali Doodah, whatever his fucking face is, that
Freebie King.
Yeah, the Freebie King that was supporting Starmer and his family, basically, and clothing them and buying them glasses and yeah, they all of them, Gary, even most of them in the House of Lords, the House of Commons, they are totally disconnected from reality. You've only got to listen to the way they talk. Starmer, especially. You look at it when they come out meeting the public. They're not actually meeting the public. The only people they're meeting up and talking to are Labour supporters. Can you imagine the upheaval if they put out an open fucking meeting and debate and Starmer turn? He'd get absolutely fucking slaughtered. All right, Stu. No worries, mate. Take care, mate. So I'll be lucky if I make it to 9 o'clock tonight with a... Oh, there goes that fucking camera again. Oh. I don't know why all of a sudden they've started doing that. I mean, I've got another one here that, which is quite a good one. It's an expensive one, but I haven't got the right bits to use it as a streaming camera. I will get them, but thank you, sweetheart.
No problem. I'll put some sugar in.
Yeah. Well, just the steam and that coming off it helps clear a little bit, but yeah, but that happened here, didn't it? I mean, that lad that was killed on his motorbike by the Yank. I mean, she's never been punished, really. She wouldn't even come back to this country to face the music and sit in court.
Diplomatic community.
Yeah, the fucking idiot Starmer said he wants to bring Elon Musk over to prosecute him. Yeah, like I can see that fucking happening. Yeah, I don't think there should be any diplomatic immunity, Gary. If you've committed a crime in a fucking country, you should be tried for it there. Not running behind your embassy door. We wouldn't get the same privilege in their countries, will we? And some of their punishments in certain places are a lot harsher than ours as well. Yeah, exactly, Gary. Respect the country's own laws, respect their own religions. I mean, the amount of them in London, they'll just park where they want. They do what they want, and they don't ever get prosecuted. Well, that Tiger Hard would have told. I've come to the conclusion that you're a bit of a pervert on the quiet, Gary.
Gary's a lot of a pervert. Comes out with weird shit.
It's just been revoked. Name that film. Can't think where I've heard that one. Grumpy Sapper. I'll try. Oh. Since when does a cold give you wind? Oh well.
It's got to be something like a Steven Seagal, where he stood there with a gun, and he's going, "I've got diplomatic immunity."
Not a Dirty Harry one, is it? A Clint Eastwood one?
It's just been revoked. Bang. Is my guess, but
No, it sounds like something Dirty Harry would come out with. Eastwood.
I can never name films. I'm useless.
You got to remember, Grumpy, I don't watch a lot of modern films.
I can Google it.
Do you know, I'm sure them lamb chips would taste a lot nicer with hot milk. Lethal Weapon. Mel Gibson.
Yeah, it was actually Lethal Weapon 2.
There you go.
But I was right with the type of film.
Yeah, and it is one I've seen actually, but I didn't remember that bit.
Once or twice, yeah, not a lot.
Mental rigs. Oh, Gary's off on the jokes. Yeah, I'll try and keep going till 9 o'clock, guys. But I don't think it's going to go on much further than that.
Okay, you see, I don't understand the initials. I worked in accountancy for so long. SA is self-assessment. And the joke doesn't work with that. I hate acronyms.
To be honest, Grumpy, I don't usually go online other than doing a little bit of Facebook at weekends. But both me and Heather used to be quite good at quizzes. We used to go up the pub every week and do the quiz night up there. Heather used to cheat well.
I never cheated at one of the road.
And you wouldn't except for when you couldn't see the answers on the laptop for the quizmaster, yeah.
I couldn't help it if I got good eyesight in those days. If the guy wants to wander around showing me the answer sheet, you know, a girl's got to look.
I'll tell you what we used to do, Grumpy, for quite some time. We had a thing of watching. There was a lot of videos that used to be out about old adverts and tunes and what film was this. We used to get nostalgic and watch a few of them, like pause it to say, right, go on then. What film was that? You know.
Grumpy, do you play the tunes or do you quote the lyrics or both?
Oh, nice one. I'm only just over 500, Grumpy, and it took me, 3.5, 4 years to get to that. Because YouTube have shadow banned me. Every time I get new subs, they knock some of the old ones off. You're going to do the nostalgia. Going to be a geomagnetic storm tonight. Oh, well, if there wasn't any cloud, you'd probably see the old Aurora Borealis then.
No, it's the right season. The sun goes through these cycles and it's in one of these cycles where we're getting an awful lot of storms.
Gary, if you look in the description under my videos, there's a link to Grumpy Sapper in there permanently.
I can throw it in if you want me to.
Or Heather will throw it in the chat now anyway. But yeah, there's links there to the channels that I do follow and what have you. There you go. There's the link to Grumpy Sapper.
I'm awfully efficient.
16 more to get him to the 500.
I'm already subscribed, so can't help. I'll say what's happening Saturday. I quite like a music quiz. I might come along and have a play.
Yeah, it depends if we got family round or something, you know.
That's why I say I'll see what's happening on Saturday.
Menopause UK want my song for the advertising campaign.
Go for it. Charge them loads.
Yeah, that's like me, Stu. You know, as I've said for a long time now, my long-term memory is absolutely spot on most of the time. But my short-term memory, and you know, it's screwed. And unfortunately, it's not getting any better. Yeah, hence the big notice board there with me notes and appointments and doctor's letters to remind me of shit that I need to remember. And I've just spilt hot lemsip down myself. Nice. Sorry about me keep supping, people.
And sniffing.
Eh?
And sniffing.
And sniffing, yeah. It's a pain. Well, I was going to say it's a pain in the ass, but it's more of a pain in the nose.
Yeah, you're a pain in the ass. Oh my God, I'm cooking.
You what?
You.
Why?
He's been suffering really badly with wind of late. And we think we may have pinned it down. We think it might be my cooking. So I'm just going to stop cooking. You might stop farting then.
Oh, pardon me. Yeah, that's exactly the same as me, Stuart. I've got so much information in here, and most of it is useless. Absolutely useless.
Where was Harry Houdini born?
Hungry.
Oh, yeah. He wouldn't listen to me on one of the quizzes. I'm like, I know the answer to this. And he's like, nah, you're wrong. I know the answer to this. Nah, you're wrong. What was the answer? Hungary. Oh, you were right. I know I was. Didn't get a point, though, because he didn't believe me. I am not going to let him forget it, ever. When he's on his death, lying there dying, going, do you love me? I'm going to turn around and go,
the answer is 47.
Where was Harry Houdini born?
The answer is always 47, Gary.
Indeed.
Mud, yeah, I remember Mud. Gary Moore. Supertramp, not so much. Dollar. That was at Bazaar, wasn't it? Teresa Bazaar, was it? The blonde one with the teeth. If I remember rightly. See, memory's good from back then. I think it was Teresa Bazaar, something like that, or Bazaar, or Bazir.
So, Gary, What's 47 the answer to? Because the answer to the question of
What's
the meaning
life?
of
And
life
everything.
is 42.
Two. Yeah.
And what's the question? What is 6 times 7?
Heaven 17. Oh, God. Oh, fucking hell.
The answer to heaven 17 is 47. Okay.
Yeah, how many red balloons was there?
9 and
Gary
90.
Moores. Good evening. Six times 7 plus 5. Honestly, this channel gets weirder and weirder.
No, that's Gary. That's just Gary.
Yeah, Pap used to play the card games. In fact, I actually won a T-shirt on it, didn't I? Thinking about it.
And I beat you in the quiz.
Yeah, you beat me in the quiz. Yeah, absolutely, Gary. Absolutely, Gary. The trouble is, there's not a lot to laugh at nowadays, is there? You know, we've got to make our own laughter. Cancelling comedy and no, I play properly. Yeah. Oh, it's the screen version. The only time I struck Lucky Gordo was when I met this one.
Oh, God, we're off again.
Yeah. You know, I used to play the odds a bit in the cars and on the bikes, and luckily enough, touch wood, I won at that.
Till you came off coming down the hill in Wales.
Eh?
Till you came off coming down
Oh,
the
yeah,
hill in
I
Wales.
lost that one, didn't I?
You well and truly lost that one.
Yeah, I think I've already got it, Stuart.
Yeah. And it will be Manflu.
Yeah, that's it, Gary. You know, we've got good people in here. Most of us have got a good sense of humour. Even those that haven't, you know, they'll come out with something, and there's always one of us that finds it funny. Some of us have got dark senses of humour. Mine can be very dark, but I have to keep that sort of under check now, especially on Facebook.
Otherwise, I eat you.
Yeah, likely to get myself pulled down. Was that the door?
No. It's me.
Yeah, mine's got me into trouble more than once, Gordo, believe me.
I've got me fired.
Especially with the police. Yeah, I never thought about it for years, Gary. I always said I'd never use it. As I've said before, Heather and a friend of mine set me up with a page one day, sat here. I just gave them my phone and that was it. All of a sudden, I'm on bloody Facebook. But it has had some good sides for me. I mean, I've got back in touch with a lot of old friends, people that I haven't heard from for 50 years, you know.
Which is the reason I told you to get set up, because I knew they were there and I knew they'd connect with you. I've got so many of your friends on my page. I can't find my own friends.
Mine equals to I'm actually breathing through my mouth a lot at the moment. But it doesn't help when you wear glasses because, it presses on the top here. Trouble is, once I start mouth breathing at night, I end up dribbling. It's your right wing nostril. Oh, dear. I mean, yeah, I do get on Facebook. I've usually got it open because I get the personal messages from people that are sending stuff through, sending stories through, and pointing me in the right direction to certain things. A lot of them I can't use simply because of the censorship. But, obviously we've got to be very, very careful nowadays, and that's only going to get worse as well. We've seen at the socialist convention this week, they called them protesters. Personally, I like to think as they were objectors. They were stood up and saying they were wrong, and and what did the first thing they do? They have them removed. They're not prepared to listen to it. And this is what they're going to end up doing with the protests. Anti-sausage. Oh, wouldn't that be fucking funny? He turns up in public to give a speech and everybody in the crowd is throwing sausages at him. Oh, that would be an absolute fucking classic.
Yeah, but now you've said that, if it happens, you'll get the blame. Instigating it.
But that's against you. That's what I said earlier about his speech yesterday. We should all stand together under our flag. They're arresting people for standing under our flag and supporting our country. We're right-wing racist thugs if you stand under our flag. He's an absolute fucking hypocrite.
Wrong. So very wrong.
But I think Remembrance Day this year is going to be interesting. I've heard of various things that people are being asked to do, and some of it is a little bit disrespectful, but if it's the way of showing how people feel, then some of the things you've got to do. I don't mean out and out protesting, screaming, shouting, throwing stuff. I mean, peaceful. Yeah, it means a hell of a lot to a lot of us, Gary. And I find it the most disrespectful thing around it is those fuckers from Parliament stood there and then walking up and laying reefs. Boy, absolutely disrespecting the veterans, doing away with the very freedoms of the people fought for that we're remembering. I'm hoping to get up to the memorial here again this year to do my annual video from up there. But this year I'm going to have to get Heather to drive me up there. I won't be able to walk up there now. My father was a veteran. My two grandfathers, they were lost. My dad's twin brother, who was a veteran, he passed earlier this year as well. Yeah, exactly, Stuart. Exactly, mate. But last year there was a para ex-para that I was speaking to up there. He's in a disabled buggy. He had his beret on and his medals. And he's covered in tattoos. He's got them on his face as well. But everybody gave him the respect for what he was, not what he looked like. And this is the big problem. I mean, I've got my father's cap badge. Every year when I go up, I put that on my jacket. And it's quite funny how many don't recognise it as well, actually. British Army with the Chinese dragon. Yeah. But that was the original cap badge from the company. They changed the name and went through so many different guises over the years. No, I see they're sending a load of the troops out to Cyprus again now. Why? What are they going to do? They're going to go in to the Middle East again? I remember my father talking about he was out in Cyprus during the uprising out there. I have the death penny. I mean, I've got it. Well, he's not strictly a cousin. We call him a cousin. I presume he's probably retired now. He was in Three Power. Berkshire Rifles, Stuart. The original Berkshire Rifles. They went in with Hampshire lot and Wiltshire and eventually became the Royal Green Jackets, if I remember rightly. Oh, the game's gone very, very wrong, Gary. Very wrong. I mean, I keep hearing this. We're going to issue a warrant because somebody's broke the rules of law, rules of war. As far as I've always been concerned, there are no rules in war. It's kill or be killed. All right, Gabby, nice to see you again, sweetheart. If you go down into the... actually, you can bang it in the chat if you want.
What?
Heather now has a channel where she does a live stream for the girls on a Friday night. It's not as... I mean, this one isn't that busy compared to some, but hers is usually about 10, 15 of us in there.
Give me a minute.
A lot of the girls get more time in there. There's usually only the girls on the panel if they want to come up. I pop up on there regular, but if you want to go and have a look at that and join in, you'd be more than welcome. Bailey, good evening.
There you go, Gabby. There's me and mine. Friday night, if I do one, 7 o'clock.
That's Friday nights from 7 till 10. Sometimes, like mine, they're a bit shorter, but yeah, exactly, Bailey. I mean, that's always been my take on war. Yes, there are nasty weapons that get used, chemical and the like. But that's part of war, you know. I think the only reason a lot of them don't get used is restraint. I mean, we know chemical weapons did get used not so long back. They say there's never been a nuclear war, but on saying that, you've only got to look at Iran, Iraq, and what went on there. Now, as far as I'm concerned, using depleted uranium rounds in tanks and artillery, I would class that as a nuclear conflict. They're radioactive. They're nuclear. That's why nobody wants to scrap the tanks and that are all out in the desert, because they're all irradiated. Yeah, I'd love to go, Stuart, but it's the fatigue with me, and I've already explained. All right, Gabby, take care, sweetheart. Nice to see you again.
Thank you for subbing.
Yeah, the police would only have to grab me or so, and I'd fly off the handle at them. Yeah, well, it's used to penetrate the armor, Gary, more than anything. You haven't sampled me. Oh. But yeah, the depleted uranium rounds, they've been around for quite some time. But nowadays, they use more the hypersonic rounds and shit like that.
You can tell Mrs. G doesn't go on YouTube.
Yeah, that was a good film, Missy Quadrophenia. But again, it showed, I won't say the hypocrisy, but you had like the character, the face that Sting played. You know, he was a bellboy during the day, yet he was an absolute hero to the mods in the evening at weekends, you know. And besides that, that's the best Leslie Ash ever looked. Who was in that film? We'll put that one up there.
What?
Gordo's comment.
I still say she doesn't use YouTube, or he wouldn't be quite so brave.
Mind you, that could be the basis of a YouTube channel there, Gordo. The total screw-ups of cooking, you know.
Oh, there's enough of them out there. Don't need any more. Oh, some of the concoctions that people put up. Oh, they are disgusting.
I know, I've seen some of them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I can cook a mean pork pie.
No,
It's
you
just the
can't.
wrapper gets me a bit
You
confused.
can unwrap a pork pie. You can't cook one.
That's what I was saying. If you listened, I get confused with the wrappers.
Still can't cook one.
Yeah, it was, Stuart, and a lot of the guys did suffer symptoms from it. and that can be totally disabling. Gillian Barry. The main areas that I saw that was from the swine flu outbreak. The intervention they gave then, it was a jab called Pandemrix, and that actually gave people Guillain-Barré syndrome. It affects different people in different ways, but evening, Lodge. But a mate of mine down in Cornwall, he was out in Kosovo. He was also in Georgia, went out in Georgia as well. But he was just a volunteer truck driver more than anything.
Was he taking the Mercs to Russia?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got the toast finished indicator that goes off in the kitchen here.
And next door.
And next door have got the same. And the one upstairs on the landing, that goes off if you leave the bathroom door open when you're having a shower with the steam. Bear in mind, it is a council house and they're all hardwired ones. You can't just take the battery out and turn the bastards off. They're on permanent. Which is a bit of a... Mind you, they haven't checked them lately, have they? They haven't done an electrical check. We had the gas one. He's due again soon.
No, I think we've had him this year. We've got a while yet before he comes.
Oh, we're not far off the end of the year now. Yeah.
He comes in the summer.
We're only... What is it? 1, 2... Only a couple of months nearly away from Christmas, you know.
I know.
That's assuming they let us have one this year.
I'm having bloody Christmas. He ain't stopping me.
Smoke a lump of my smoking spot. Yeah, but that was the thing, Gary. I mean, we got one in the living room here. It's up by the door there. You have to have them, and we've got. Well, I took it down. It was it's lent against the wall over there now. The carbon monoxide one. But when we used to smoke, you know, some weekends we'd have half a dozen people in there puffing away on cigarettes and other things, and it never went off once over them. But you put a couple of bits of toast in and leave them in. Ooh. And you can't control the volume on it either, and they're fucking loud. Oh dear. Oh,
No.
Yeah, we don't have the e-cigarettes, Bailey, on these since we give up smoking. Sausages, yeah. Yeah, well, that's a standard thing with dogs, Gordo. It's what makes me laugh when people let them lick all over their faces and that. You don't know exactly what they've been chewing on. Yeah. Yeah. Step away from the sausages.
I know this much. It won't be the cat from 10 Downing Street I'm cooking.
Yeah, what's happened to Larry?
Somebody's already at that.
He's gone AWOL, isn't he? They were looking for him for a photo shoot, and he wasn't anywhere to be seen. I mean, he is getting on a bit, but then you got Starmer trying to make himself look good, buying one for himself. And,
Starmer didn't want him, so Sunak's kidnapped him.
well, apparently Roland liked him, and he likes cats. And if he has gone with him, then fair shout to the bloke. I'll give him props for that. But he was always there, wandering about.
But somebody would have complained if he took him. And he should have said if he was taking him.
But the thing is, if a cat's not well or it's getting old, it knows when the end's coming. And they do tend to go and hide away. And that is why there is quite a few cats that people think, oh, it's wandered off, it's gone missing. It's just they've gone off on their own to die. And that's why I took ours to the vet, because I knew she was on her last legs, and I just didn't want to come down and find her not there, and then a couple of days later come across her like so. And I didn't want to see her suffering anymore.
It would have been more likely that you came down and found her tucked in a corner somewhere.
Yeah, and it was a kinder thing to do. Yeah, still miss her, but it's done.
There wasn't long left for her, and she'd had enough.
Well, we tried lots of treatment, tried different stuff, and nothing had worked. And
the only time you got any activity out of her when I tried to give her tablets, cut her claws.
Oh yeah, she never did like that.
She could turn into a raving ball of flying fur then, but she couldn't eat.
A furry terrorist. With stilettos on the end of her feet. Yeah, I've had to do it a few times with pets, Gary. The last time with a cat was I had one down in Cornwall that got run over, and the vet said that it's just not worth trying to do anything. So I had to make the decision on the spot then. But with this one, we knew it was coming. If I'm honest, we should have done it sooner. But I was really struggling to make the decision.
We wanted to give it another chance.
I wanted to give it every chance. But it got to the point where, no, it just had to be done.
We knew when we came back from holiday, but I couldn't come back from holiday and do it. It was too soon.
Oh, ours wasn't a mouse so large, you couldn't catch a bloody cold. Unlike me, apparently. Yeah, that's the thing, Gary. You got people that see him as a pet, or then you got the people that see him as part of the family. And I always see him as a family member, and she was, And she was my constant shadow as well.
She was your other pussy.
Yeah. There was always two women in my life, and she was one of them. Oh, no. Oh.
You're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Made it till nearly 9.
Yeah. Well, I did say probably about 9 o'clock tonight. No way I'm going to keep going till 10.
That was the first yawn.
My eyes are starting to itch and water again now. Yeah, I was the same with my Alsatian, Gary. I mean, if I was at home, he was constantly by my side. He weren't as bad as the cat. He never used to follow me into the toilet or anything, but but he was never allowed to sleep on the bed. He had to sleep in his bed, in his own bed. He's too fucking big.
Cat wouldn't sleep in her bed because she didn't like it.
No.
Any of them. We tried a few.
Yeah, mine had all sorts wrong, JW. She, towards the end, she wasn't eating, she couldn't eat, she couldn't crap. And nothing would work. And it was just age. She was old. She couldn't even walk properly half the time.
I still say it was all
about
down to the fact that she
that was
couldn't
allowed
eat.
to dress as a wolf? What the fuck? Yeah, and the teacher said she could identify as one as well, wouldn't it? Yeah, Gordo, mine used to. She used to come up and tuck herself under my arm, and as soon as I fell asleep, she'd sneak off down the bottom and curl up by my feet. But it actually got to the stage where she couldn't even get up onto the bed. She didn't have the energy and the strength to jump up. But this is the thing, Stuart. They keep on about giving the kids an education. But it's not an education anymore. It's an indoctrination. That all they're trying to do is teach them to be good little yes people. Yes, sir. 3 bags full, sir. I'll stand in line and beg and wait for my turn. They don't let them think for themselves. I mean, they're not allowed to drink alcohol till they get to 18. But at 9, 10, they're supposed to be able to choose what fucking sex they want to be. It's just wrong. Yeah, and the parents that let it happen as well, Lodge, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, when I was young, we were taught respect. There doesn't seem any of that nowadays. You've only got to look at the amount of kids on the street late at night and the ages of them. And, they moaning today as well about the electric bikes. Well, when you see the price of some of them fucking bikes, where does a 14-year-old get 4 or 5 grand? They can't hide them anywhere. The parents must know they have them. So either they've been given the money or they've stolen them or stolen the money to buy them. I mean, we do know, well, I know for a fact that they've been moaning about the electric bikes for some time because they're self-propelled, they're on the roads, and they're not paying any tax or insurance. At one point, they wanted to put registration plates on bloody push bikes, normal push bikes, for crying out loud. I mean, all we used to have back in the day was a cycling proficiency test at school. But if you look at what Dictator Khan wants to do in London with Oxford Street, if he gets that through, you wouldn't even be allowed to ride a push bike down Oxford Street, let alone drive a car down it. And that'll absolutely kill the businesses along there. Oh, yeah, here we go. Second yawn. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, guys. And I'm going to try and get some supper down my neck and get to bed. Yeah, Newton, Bailey. You've only got to look at what the Church of England are putting out now. You know, you're not allowed to call it a church. Communal houses of prayer. Yeah, and I mean, and they don't even protest, Lodger. If you look at them, they just stand there and scream. You know, and most of them don't even know what they're protesting against. Yep, and again, that's creating another black hole in the finances. Like I said before, banning the smoking, drink, all the duty on all that, and the fuel in cars, petrol, the duty on petrol and diesel, forcing them. You look at how much revenue it runs into the billions that they'd be losing. Yeah, there is lag between. Are you sure you're not on Top Chat, Gary? There's always a lag between StreamYard and YouTube. And it can be quite horrendous sometimes.
You need to make sure you're on the actually watching live.
I mean, that's why sometimes I have to wait, because before it goes out on YouTube, I can say something and then a comment on it won't come up for 30 seconds. It's always been a problem. Yeah, you can do it that way. Just refresh. You don't need to restart. Just press refresh. And that usually picks it back up.
If you hover over the bottom of the picture as well, so that you get all the icons up, you've got the word live, and if the red dot isn't shining on that, you are not live. Just click there and it brings it back to live. But there is always a small difference. Nothing you can do about that.
I mean, we had it one night, there was nearly a minute lag. I mean, YouTube is getting real bad now. I mean, you got people like me that they don't send alerts out to, and you get shadow banned, but it's also happening to normal channels. You know, even the funny cat and cuddly pets ones, even they get problems now.
One second's a good lag time.
Yeah, they did change the licensing laws. Absolutely. We had one pub in Abingdon on a Monday that used to be allowed to open at 6:30 in the morning. Because it was a market town and the market was on a Monday. There was some law written into the local laws that one pub was allowed to open to serve the market traders breakfast. And that went back many years. I mean, Abingdon is the one of the first names in the Doomsday Book, because it's all alphabetical order from A, B. A very old medieval town. Note to self, 3 Bailey's basement prison. But then they changed the Sunday laws, didn't they? But then they give special dispensation on certain days of the year where the pubs can stay open for as long as they want or extra time to suit things like bloody football matches. So, I mean,
But unless they've changed it, when I used to work in the pub, they had to apply for a special license for that day, that night.
oh, yeah, they have to apply for it. But if they applied, they were more or less,
Oh, yeah, it was guaranteed.
it was guaranteed you'd get it. Yes, sure. I mean, Sundays used to be 12 till, what was it, 2? And then again, you weren't allowed to open from 7. You had to shut it half 10. But I think alcohol is another thing that's going to get absolutely hammered again in the budget. I think, they're still saying, oh no, they're not going to raise income tax and national insurance and VAT. But I think they will. I think they'll change that. They will put some on. They've got to. They've got to. Because they've got to try and cover what they're spending. Right, well, I'm going to call that it, guys. My head is absolutely pounding. I'm bursting for a piss. Not that you needed to know that. But once again, thank you for everybody that comes in on a Wednesday night. Again, the respect shown in the chat is absolutely brilliant. It's something that I very rarely see on any live stream now. The amount of respect showed in here from everybody towards each other as well. But hopefully, as at the moment, there will be one from Mrs. W on Friday night.
Unless I catch the lurgy.
Unless she catches the lurgy. Yes, it is mandatory, Bailey. Absolutely. And anybody steps out of line, you know what I'm like. I don't care who it is. I jump on it. But thank you, Maureen. But everybody, as always, until the next time, it says it there. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay free. And with that, it's good night from me.
And good night from me. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Friday, hopefully.
Stay safe out there.